What would you do if you discovered a secret pattern hidden in plain sight on national television? While everyone else saw a game of pure luck, Michael Larson saw a machine he could control. He spent thousands of hours staring at a screen until he found the glitch that would change his life. But as the numbers climbed to record-breaking heights, the producers realized they weren't just watching a lucky streak. They were watching a man bankrupt their show in real time. In 1984, Michael Larson is a man barely getting by, working long hours as an ice cream truck driver, while his life slowly slips out of control. One day, through pure chance, he wanders into the audition offices of the popular television game show, Press Your Luck. A scheduled contestant hasn't arrived yet, and Michael quietly takes the empty seat, hoping for a rare break in his otherwise unlucky life. Inside the interview room, he nervously introduces himself to the show's staff, contestant coordinator Chuck, and executive producer Bill Carruthers. Michael speaks honestly about his troubled past, his financial struggles, and his desperate need for a fresh start. His story doesn't impress everyone, but before a decision can be made, the real contestant finally shows up. Michael is immediately escorted out, his brief moment of hope seemingly crushed. However, as Michael leaves, Bill Carruthers can't shake the feeling that there's something compelling about him. Unlike the polished contestants they usually see, Michael feels real, an underdog audiences might root for. Against expectations, Carruthers overrules the setback and schedules Michael to appear on the next day's taping, unknowingly setting the stage for a game show moment that will soon make history. The following day, Michael Larson takes his place on the Press Your Luck stage, facing two competitors. One is Ed, the calm and confident returning champion, who also happens to be a minister. The other is Janie, a cheerful dental assistant hoping for her own moment of luck. Standing behind their podiums, all three prepare as host Peter Tamarkin begins firing off trivia questions. Michael immediately struggles during the question round. While Ed and Janie answer with confidence, Michael hesitates, missing several questions and falling behind. His nervousness is obvious, and it seems as though he may be outmatched. Still, he manages to earn a few precious spins, giving him a chance to recover when the game shifts to the flashing game board. At first, Michael has modest success. He spins and collects some money, slowly building a score. But the momentum doesn't last. One spin lands on a dreaded whammy, instantly wiping out everything he has earned and dropping his total back to zero. The setback appears devastating, reinforcing the idea that Michael is simply unlucky. Because he finishes the round in last place, Michael is forced to play first in the second round. What looks like a disadvantage quickly turns into something unexpected. Spin after spin, he begins landing on squares that award him large sums of money, along with extra spins. The board seems to bend in his favor, and his total climbs rapidly. Before anyone can fully grasp what's happening, Michael's score surges past $16,000, shocking both his opponents and the audience watching in disbelief. As Michael Larson's winnings continue to climb, Bill Carruthers and the production staff begin to grow uneasy. Spin after spin, Larson keeps playing with unnatural confidence, defying every statistical expectation of the game. What should be random luck is starting to look calculated, and the control room fills with quiet tension as the numbers keep rising. Determined to uncover the truth, contestant coordinator Chuck takes matters into his own hands. Acting on suspicion, he breaks into Larson's ice cream truck, searching for any sign of cheating. Inside, he discovers a strange collection, multiple driver's licenses, various license plates, and a stack of videotapes. At first glance, the tapes appear harmless, resembling ordinary home movies. But when Chuck plays them back, the reality becomes clear. The footage isn't personal at all. It's hours upon hours of Press Your Luck episodes, carefully recorded and studied. With this revelation, Chuck returns to the studio and watches Larson more closely than ever. He notices Larson's eyes tracking the movement of the flashing light across the game board, following it with precise timing. Even more telling, Larson celebrates his wins almost instantly, as if he already knows where the light will stop. In that moment, everything clicks. Chuck realizes that the board isn't truly random. Larson has memorized the 5 repeating patterns hidden within the game board's design, allowing him to predict the outcomes of his spins. What looks like unbelievable luck is, in fact, a carefully executed strategy, one that threatens to expose a flaw at the heart of the show itself. Growing desperate to stop Michael Larson's unstoppable run, Bill Carruthers and the production team resort to increasingly intrusive tactics to break his concentration. They interrupt his rhythm, distract him during spins, and apply subtle pressure, hoping even the smallest disruption will cause him to slip. But none of it works. Larson remains locked in, continuing to beat the odds with almost mechanical precision. Eventually, the mood shifts. Carruthers and the others come to a difficult realization. Larson's unbelievable success isn't hurting the show, it's electrifying it. What began as a crisis now looks like a once-in-a-lifetime television moment. Seeing the potential for massive publicity, they make the calculated decision to let the game continue and allow Larson to win. With his total soaring past $109,000 and only one spin remaining, Larson is suddenly thrown off balance. In a move orchestrated by Chuck, the show connects him to a phone call with his estranged wife, Patricia. someone Larson had repeatedly tried to reach during breaks in the taping. The moment catches him completely off guard. On the line, Patricia coldly asks him to sign their divorce papers before hanging up without hesitation. The call shatters Larson emotionally. Overwhelmed, he breaks down on stage, then abruptly flees the set, locking himself inside a dressing room. Ed, moved by genuine sympathy, follows and tries to comfort him, urging him to come back and finish what he started. Soon after, Carruthers arrives and speaks to Larson directly. He admits that he knows Larson memorized the board's patterns. But instead of condemning him, Carruthers tells him something unexpected. Larson is becoming a star. Once he completes his victory, the audience will love him, and his place in television history will be sealed. Reassured by Carruthers' words, Michael Larson gathers himself and returns to the set. The moment he steps back onto the stage, the atmosphere has completely changed. The audience erupts into chants of his name, turning him from a suspected cheater into a crowd favorite. The pressure is immense, but the support gives him the strength to continue. As the game resumes, Larson makes a choice no one expects. Instead of protecting his massive lead, he passes his final remaining spin to Ed. The decision openly defies Carruthers' expectations and sends the audience into a frenzy. The gesture earns Larson a standing ovation, cementing his image as more than just a lucky contestant. Ed takes the spin, hope flickering across his face, but it vanishes in an instant. The board stops on a whammy, wiping out all of Ed's winnings. Janie then takes her turn, spinning several times in a tense sequence before finally passing one last spin back to Larson. Exhausted and emotionally drained, Larson stands at the podium once more. The flashing lights blur together, and for the first time, he can no longer see the familiar patterns he once relied on. With nothing left but instinct, he closes his eyes, takes a breath, and presses the button to stop the board. Several weeks later, the moment finally airs on television. Alone, Patricia sits and watches the broadcast of Michael Larson's unforgettable appearance. On screen, the tension of that final spin plays out once more. Against all odds, Larson survives by landing on a prize, avoiding the whammy at the last possible second. The episode reaches its conclusion, revealing the full scale of his victory. Larson walks away with a staggering total, $110,237 in cash and prizes, an amount that forever changes his life. The studio audience erupts in celebration as the historic win is confirmed. Honoring the agreement made behind the scenes, Bill Carruthers embraces the narrative that has captured the nation's attention. Larson's achievement is officially framed not as strategy or controversy, but as pure fortune. The show crowns him with a legendary label, one that will follow him into television history, the luckiest man in America.